Okay, the channel is live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on so many levels. We're going to play Masks: A New Generation.
Yeah.
Superheroes! Yay!
Yes.
I am Christiana Ellison. I am the game master. Our players tonight, the full house. Flair, played by Nobilis.
Hey there!
Curie, played by Dove Archambault.
I think tonight's gonna take the cake.
Mayhem, played by Lee Burdett.
This is going to be fun.
Vanguard, played by Jason Banks.
Guys, I watched Under Siege. I am prepared for this.
Antares, played by Paul Weimer, who is way off to one side of his camera for some reason.
There are reasons.
There we go.
Better?
Yes,
Better.
thank you.
Okay.
There we go.
Greater than Constantinople's golden horn, to say nothing of Istanbul's ardor. The harbor kids protect Halcyon City's harbor. We are here to see villainy shorn.
Wow.
I liked last week's better.
Hey, poems are hard,
Wow.
okay?
Well, what if we could get him to sing it like Plucky Duck?
Oh, gee.
No, thank you.
And last but not least, Ilanil, played by Millie Katie.
What have I started?
So, when last we left our heroes, they got up to hijinks of various kinds. Mostly they were kind of deciding to have a lower stakes, lower key evening following their adventure at the harbor with the cruise director. You managed to, comfort each other somewhat, consult with each other somewhat, occasionally fail to comfort each other, break your electronic systems,
Yeah.
the entertainment system, which led to a movie night. In that movie night, there was a discussion of the powered celebrity known as Silver Light, who seems like she might somehow mysteriously fit into a prophecy of some kind from Ilanil's home dimension. Also, we had Flair go off in search of Sunglass, the previous Sun Dweller emissary, who has mysteriously kind of specifically didn't go back to the sun, but also has not been, present or easy or obvious to find, but has been located by Flair and enlisted in the task of finding Flair a secret identity. We'll have to figure out how that's going to play out. And meanwhile, Ilanil and Curie managed to accidentally find where Colonel Karzan had been hiding, only to flee. They successfully fled with their lives intact. He got away also, but so he's still around doing up to no good, probably. And then we finished the session last time with Vanguard having a nightmare about the park, which has a memorial of the people who died in a battle with the supervillain known as Reaper. Victims who included Vanguard's parents. But in this dream, at least, a mysterious sinkhole opened up and swallowed the monument. So in a spooky, ominous fashion. So, as we resume our adventure here, I want to start. This is something I perhaps could have discussed with Nobilis before the session, but I think decided to just have us discuss it on the stream.
Yeah.
This secret identity that Flair is interested in. You are planning to just take do you have the advancement now to take the move that you were looking for?
I don't. This
Oh,
was
okay.
kind of like this was kind of like setting up the
Sure,
dominoes so that
sure.
when that happens, it's
Okay. Well, so that is you perhaps left then that initial meeting with the, you know, uh, Sunglasses going to work on some stuff for you, and be in touch. But what sorts of parameters do you think you would have given Sunglass in terms of things like what kind of person do you want this secret identity to be? Do you want
Wow.
them to have a job?
Mhm.
Should they be a student? Um,
I think given given Blair's kind of naivete, and he
Mhm.
knows that he's missing some stuff, um, that, should be someone like from out of town,
hmm,
newly arrived,
sure.
um, uh, and I think like college freshman, um, you know,
All right. So,
and yeah,
okay.
yeah, school maybe has duties, for financial aid reasons or what have you, but it strikes me as something where, you know, disappearing to go save the world is not going to be as much of a problem
Mm-hmm.
than somebody who's got a 9 to 5 and
Yeah.
that being said, being able to shapeshift is going to make the lack of telephone booths in the 21st century not
Sure.
a problem.
Sure. As long as nobody sees you change.
Yeah,
But which it was ultimately still the reason that Superman used the phone booths, right? um, but just notably, mechanically, in that secret identity move, you will be choosing a total of 3 obligations that can be in the categories of job, school, home, and social.
right.
So think about that as this all gets closer to reality. One other note following up on that, Antares, you having returned home, found that you had received a letter from a Dr. Emilia Haversham,
Yep.
who was interested in studying your abilities at her laboratory. And I think that there's an address there, but also a phone number. I think you kept it to yourself in terms of that evening, but you know what were you thinking about that?
I was thinking, yes, I was going to call the number and talk to these people, not tell my teammates at first, which of course is not the smart thing to do, but it's the highly dramatic thing to do. So that's it. I gotta think I'm a dumb teenager who's afraid of his powers. So I'm not gonna tell the rest of the team, but I'm just gonna go do it and see what happens
Okay,
and
okay.
get into trouble.
All right. So what is your plan here?
Dial the number the next day and arrange for an appointment to go to her laboratory.
Is this a call you're making from home before you?
On my cell, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I think you call the number and uh, you just get a message that just says Havisham Laboratories.
Yes, my name is Antares. I was given this number
Oh,
to speak with the
goodness.
doctor.
Yes. Thank you for calling. I suppose that you've got my letter then.
I did, and I am interested in your proposal.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm so glad to hear it. I did wonder if it was the right medium of communication to open our dialogue by sending the letter to you at your home.
It's a little old-fashioned, but but so that kind of drew my attention. A random spam text I probably would have just binned, or a random email I would have just deleted.
Uh,
A letter got my attention.
and anymore, electronic communications are so prone to interception or decryption.
Yes, true. That is also very true. It's much harder to intercept mail than people think.
So tell me, do you have any questions before we discuss our next steps?
I'm curious as to how long this take, what sort of equipment you're going to use, how dangerous this is. Do I need to sign a waiver or get gu- parental consent?
Oh, well, I assume that so long as you are 18, I don't believe you need parental consent. Am my records incorrect?
No, your records are correct. Hashtag he's actually 17, but he's lying.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
I've established he's 17, so yes, he's lying.
Uh-huh, okay. Well, so certainly I think that if you wish to tell anyone you like, you are certainly welcome to do so. But I don't have any requirement of that on my end. As for danger, I shouldn't think there's any danger involved. We will certainly take precautions anytime we are testing your powers, just to ensure that there's no collateral damage. However, I do have some equipment which I believe will assist us in this matter. The equipment is rather specialized. I study many forms of cosmic energies that have been identified throughout, the known cosmos. But of course, here in Halcyon City, we have a ready supply of multiple varietals.
And I'm yet a new varietal you have not yet encountered.
Indeed, it is true that many individuals within Halcyon City displaying various powers may in fact have those abilities due to them channeling an energy of one type or another, but few of those energies are readily transferable or transformable into other sorts of useful, productive science. And I have some reason to believe, having studied your public demonstrations of your abilities, that there may in fact be some incredibly useful synergy that we can find with your abilities and a bit of modern elbow grease and know-how.
That sounds exactly what I want.
Wonderful. So, we have our laboratory here. It is small compared to some of the, university laboratories or the, big corporate funded industrial science, but we are, fitted with our necessary equipment, and we would be amenable and flexible for whatever time would be amenable to you. We understand that you do have other commitments after all.
Okay, so out of character GM timeline,
Mm-hmm.
when are we doing this cake thing?
That's a good question. I think that we hadn't really definitively nailed it down exactly, so I would invite the group to decide when that is.
I mean, as soon as we get the cake, which was supposed to be like,
I was assuming it was going to be the session, so, or at least, like, basically, what I understood was it was going to be the next day.
yeah,
So today.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I will tell Dr. Haversham that tomorrow will be great.
Ah, splendid, splendid. I believe you have the address from my letter.
I do.
I don't expect that you'll. You can certainly call if you have any trouble finding the place, but I don't expect that will be a problem for someone as capable as you.
Thank you.
And so, perhaps tomorrow at say 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Wonderful. I look
right,
forward to our mutual discoveries.
So do I. Thank you, Doctor. I will
Thank you.
hang up I will hang up the phone, and I will write. I have to find out whether we have stamps in us. We must have stamps. A letter,
Mm-hmm.
and is a letter is a letter for the Harbor Kids. Dear Harbor Kids, if you get this letter and I am not present or I have disappeared, this is where I went. Address. Antares. And Antares' intention is to mail this on the morning of going to the lab. So there will be at least a slow way for them to know what happened.
Sure.
So they can't talk him out of it, but at least know where he is.
I suspect that perhaps you have to ask your mom if there
For
are
a
any
stamp.
stamps, and she says, "Well, I think so. Surely, and we have some in here." And like digging through the junk drawer, and there's an old little book of forever stamps in there.
a pen pal to someone in Canada.
Okay, great.
Everybody's friends and girlfriends are in Canada, right?
I'm literally tempted, just because I'm imagining this real scenario. I'm literally tempted to like make you have to figure out, like, do you have envelopes? Do you have?
I know. We are in the 21st century. It is hilarious.
Because this is not like you need the self-addressed stamped envelope that would have come from
Right.
the doctor's letter. You're sending a different letter. Do you know your headquarters' address, street address?
I must. Because
yeah.
I've walked in so many times
Sure.
that's easy.
Does
to
your
figure out.
headquarters have a mailbox?
I think we have a post office box.
I think I imagine
There's
it's
an
something
old,
that's
old mail
routed through the
slot, though.
marksman.
I think we had two people talking at
Oh,
once.
sorry.
That's
Go ahead,
okay.
Deb.
I thought I was saying that was routed through the marksman.
And I was thinking that there might be a old mail slot on a door, but basically most of these kids don't know what it was for.
Well, no, I'm sure because junk mail arrives there every single day.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think we
fair enough.
established
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I think we established that. Yeah.
And Flair is just like all over it. Oh, hey, look, there's a catalog for BBWs, and just like, and
It's
he's
a
gonna
big packet
paging
of
through it.
coupons for local businesses.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, do you put that in the mail before you leave, or?
Well, because we have this whole day today.
Mhm.
How good is the mail in Halcyon City in this alternate universe, or is it the U.S. Postal Service? Could be three. No, I'm going to put it in the next day. I'm going
Okay.
to put it on the day of thing. That gives a little bit of time.
All right. So, do you have it on you now, or what?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it on
Okay.
me.
Just I think a letter of that type we have to sort of keep track of, right?
Well,
Yeah,
something I could see happening is that, like him passing it on to the doorman, because like I could see a doorman being like, someone at a fancy place saying, "Hey, can you drop this in the mail tomorrow?"
You're right. I didn't think of that, Dove. That works. Let's do it that way. That makes it simpler.
And if it's a really fancy place, it would be the concierge.
Mhm.
Do I have a concierge? I might. My parents are well off. It might be a
Yeah.
concierge. Okay, so that reduces a plot point, but on the other hand, simplifies matters. Okay, carrying on.
Okay. So, letter has been deposited with your doorman. I think we had a name for him, didn't we? Yeah, we did. We definitely did. It was
Edward Lazary.
good job.
I came up with the name. I should know
So
it.
you've deposited the letter with him with instructions to put it in the mail not today but tomorrow. Or
Yeah.
Yes?
Yep.
Okay. I think you perhaps sense in his eyes a question of like, why tomorrow?
I want to get it there at the right day on the right day. Too soon would not be good.
All right, it's not my job to ask questions about these sorts of things for minors. But all right.
It ruined the surprise.
Yeah, it would.
I didn't think kids your age even knew what stamps were. Anyway, how about Ilanil and Curie? When you got back from your little mini adventure, did you just hit the sack, or did you tell people what happened, or?
I'd be like, on the way back, be like, so should we tell the rest tonight, or should we wait until the morning? I don't know how much how
Claire says, "Tell
cogent
who? Tell who
they'll
what?"
be.
Um,
Well, this on the way
yeah,
back
this
to
is
the
in-
HQ.
when
Oh, okay.
the two of us are walking back.
Well, but Flair
Um,
was also returning from meeting Sunglass.
Oh, well,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
there.
Oh, Blair. Okay. Hi. Yeah.
uh,
We had a
so-
run-in with Colonel Karzan.
and I look like pale and drained and little everything sunken, like I've been on a week-long caffeine fueled cram session for a paper. Um, not that my character would know what that is, but
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah,
everyone
well,
else
so-
here
yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Our audience
We're gonna have to get
knows.
Our audience knows.
get an idea of what a normal look for you is, because you definitely your appearance changes quite a bit
It does. I hadn't
from
noticed.
what you've been doing.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Magic takes energy, and while some steal that energy from others, I rely on myself.
Okay. You know how you behaved with the Shadowhounds. That makes sense.
Oh,
I would,
they were
and I
more.
wouldn't call that stealing.
Oh, they're. Oh, in a way, I was stealing my father's power because that's what they're made of. But
Eh.
so I feel less bad about that, but
Well,
I
considering
try.
that power was being directed to cause you at least some form of harm, there should be no guilt.
Yeah, but I would rather not sacrifice others for my power.
Yeah, I don't blame you there.
So
Yeah.
that
So, Claire, what are you
is
doing?
Me?
Yeah.
Just lying around.
Okay.
I require some food.
Oh yeah. Actually, I think it's still there, and there's an like taco truck or some like a little food truck that is a
Halal
couple
cart.
blocks
I
away
mean,
from-
right now it's in the middle of the night, which I
Yeah.
think it's.
No,
Well,
Holy
I'm-
One is an all-night diner.
What I was going to say is that I'm certain that there are parts of downtown where there are certainly places you could get food 24 hours a day, but I think the Seaport is not the
No,
most
yeah.
hopping destination. It's one thing if it's like 11, it's another thing if it's like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying, like, because there's night shift workers,
Yeah.
and I know at least in my area, near some places that have night shift, a lot of night shift workers. There can be food trucks that pop up, show up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if there's not, then not at this time. Then
I was thinking you had leftover Chinese food at the headquarters,
Mhm.
but you can find a
Yeah,
taco truck
yeah,
if you look for one, I suppose. Yeah,
well,
you know
I'll
where
just
to go.
say the leftover Chinese food also works for me. It's just I need food before I fall down.
oh yeah, oh yeah, I can definitely understand that. Ooh. Yeah. It shouldn't be too far. It should be just here we go. The immigrant run, taco burrito, that kind of thing. And
Sure.
how are you with meat? Do you care about meat?
I had pot roast at your what
Yeah.
you
Right, you got the
what
pot
your
roast.
Yeah, like
Okay.
you called
Well,
it pot roast, and it
okay.
was definitely meat. I don't have any particular dietary concerns if, as far as I know, with
Okay.
what I've encountered so far here.
Yeah. I'll order, order, I, just some, a couple tacos for each of us. And
Okay.
these aren't huge tacos, but they're good.
And now my introduction to Mexican cuisine will have a similar starry-eyed, oh my God, the flavors of Earth are amazing. I could kind of understand why my dad wanted to take over the place, but the way he would have, I'm not, this is kind of more of a, is this why he, it's a mental thought, not an outline thought of, wait, the food is here is so good. Is this why he wanted to take it over?
Hey, it worked for Great Britain.
Yeah.
We made
So,
that comment last time, I believe.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
If it was funny then, it's got to be funny now.
Yeah.
All right, so
And I'll see her starting and said, yeah, definitely good, isn't it?
yes, it is. Thank you.
And you would think that the guy who digests food by extracting the hydrogen out of it and fusing it would have a somewhat weird sense of taste, but he actually comments on the cilantro, and that he
Oh no.
no,
It tastes
see,
like
no, see, he can choose whether he's a taste like soap type of person or not. So yeah, and he can also dial his own spice tolerance. So if it's turns out a little spicy, he can just crank that up.
Handy.
All right.
Wow.
So everyone's got tacos.
Yeah.
Glad we spent so much time on that. I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
Yeah.
Tacos are worth talking about.
yeah.
We're talking tacos.
Anyway, and then
Um,
we so unless you want to grill us more about the whole wait, you found the guy, we could just like go
Yeah.
back and go to sleep, and I look a little bit better in the morning.
And Vanguard, because is everybody there or is it just you guys?
It sounds like everyone comes in talking, so probably
Yeah.
whoever
Yeah.
is.
And when Vanguard hits it, he says, since you found him, you can also tell my Gramps. That should definitely.
Yeah, that's actually something I was thinking. I'm sure your grandpa would love to know that. If and I'm if he I don't know if he's still there. He probably evacuated as soon as we left.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he is not one that would stay when discovered.
Yeah, especially if
but
y'all
something
found it by accident.
to track. And I'd be very surprised if there was someone in the marksman that could not track, do some amazing tracking. I was never good at it.
Well, I mean, yeah.
City's not great for tracking, generally.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I'm thinking like a powers, so using powers as a way to do tracking.
Or for that matter, just who putatively owns the building, those kinds of mundane
Yeah.
tracking things.
I'm sure my Gramps has some people that can get us information on owning the building and that sort of thing.
Well, I'm sure they'd love to just take over the whole deal, right?
Right.
I mean, the way it looked, it definitely hasn't been cared for, so it's not it probably, wouldn't be too much trouble if they did try and take it over.
Oh no. As well, I mean, honestly, he probably left again because if you guys stumbled on him by accident, it's obvious he didn't hide it too well. And knowing that we would go get reinforcements at least by the morning, he's probably long and gone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Would Alano have said why she was going there?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't.
I hadn't said how, like anything, like
Actually,
how I showed up.
that's a good question. Alano, the way you were, the way, when I was following you, the way you were moving, it looked like you were, I don't know, tracking something.
The scent of magic. Well, scent is not the right word, but I do not know a more appropriate term.
Considering that I've heard of people smelling with their ears, scent of magic makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, we know a lot of people who do a lot of stuff on just vibes. So I mean,
Yeah.
Vibes?
yeah,
Oh,
it's just kind of it's just
that's a bit of a
it,
complex
yeah,
thing if you're not familiar.
it's more of a feeling.
Like an intuition of sorts?
Yeah, yeah.
A
That's
feeling.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes, you you gotta trust the gut.
Except for
Yeah.
after bad street tacos.
Huh?
You don't trust the gut after bad street tacos.
Well,
Yeah.
that's when that that's because, you know, if you don't trust the gut before the tacos, the gut betrays you.
I was just gonna say, like, the problem there is that you got bad street tacos. That's a skill issue.
And
Amazing.
and the gut is tuned by experience. So,
True.
if you don't
So
if you don't have the skills, it can't work that well. Anyway,
Yeah.
so with
the
all of
cake.
this, so we're gonna do the cake first, and
So
then
are we? I'm assuming that we have crossfaded to breakfast table
yeah,
Yeah.
I
and
was sort
sun
yeah.
peeking in through the windows.
Yeah, around the sun peeking through the you know spotted windows of all the target attempts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hearing about the what went on last night, Mayhem is eyeing the phone, like the landline phone, looking, am I gonna get called in? I hope not.
Right.
I want to see this.
We gotta get you like a cell. So like if they call you, they can call you while we're out and about. Or we could or maybe
Yeah.
like I wonder if Gramps can get us like team like multi communicators so they function as like regular phones, but also for us.
Um,
Yeah, you don't have
Yeah.
to worry about that. I mean, according if the starting condition of the building is anything to go by, the way it was left, it you won't get called in on that.
I mean,
okay.
just for from a meta standpoint here, like this is a modern city. I think if you guys wanted to have cell phones, you would have cell phones.
Oh yeah. Oh, I just it's fancy when they do double duty for our super secret superhero stuff. Um but he's like, but to be fair, I think you've got enough information, enough stuff to kind of get Gramps on our side here, though hopefully my cousin isn't there. Because she doesn't like most things I do. So if I suggest that my team has brought this information, she will definitely shoot it down, pun intended. Um, so the earlier the better. And to be honest, Gramps likes to get up early, so he's probably looking at it. It's just after 7. He's probably just now finishing his morning workout.
So I have a
Wow.
question, Ilanil. Have you at this point actually been briefed on this plan that they're putting together?
Well, I remember them talking something about a cake to use to introduce me, but I don't know the rest of it.
Carrie would have basically that Carrie would have said I probably would have talked about it,
Mhm.
especially on the way back eating the tacos. Yeah.
So in that case, this whole thing is utterly illogical to me, but I, since I need, do want to
Have that
meet
meet
and
the
have the encounter, I'm going to go along with it.
Yeah. It's better. I don't know how well you handle high power projectiles or high speed projectiles.
Yeah, and to be fair, Gramps is known to have a hair trigger, temper-wise, and slinging very heavy, magically infused metal at people.
So
Also, this is going to be a
shielding.
whole fuck ton of fun.
Right, because we have to teach Flair about trolling.
It's a moral imperative.
I mean,
Right, so
they
shielding.
did come to learn about humanity, and what's more human than troublemaking?
Very true.
Yes.
And how else, and how else are you going to be able to fit in better here,
Overall, when it comes down to it, the people who are going to get in trouble are going to be us. So don't worry about
Yeah.
it.
Right. And most specifically me, but it's fun.
Mhm.
It happens all the time.
Honestly, so, as the people who are going to get in trouble, knowing and accepting it, that's what makes it better.
And what else are friends for? And so I guess
Okay.
we'll guess the Harbor kids will set off for shenanigans.
Mhm.
Yes.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, so here's my understanding of the plan. You've arranged that the cake will be available for pickup today.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
End of established plan.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Right. So we'll have to ride inside a flare to make sure the cake doesn't spill, and then we'll take it inside, and Flair will go inside of it.
I think I figured I was going to be inside it from like pretty early on.
in which
Yeah.
case, then we'll have to walk with the cake, or
Well, I
or
mean, I could see
Uber the cake.
Mayhem being able to carry it. If she can stand holding a full sized car.
So
Yeah.
That's true.
she's certainly strong enough, but the issue is that the cake generally is both awkward in size and dimension and fragile.
Yeah. I would suggest some kind of trolley or something, and then
Okay.
I can pull it.
You could also probably arrange to have it delivered somewhere if you wanted, but then again, it sounds like it's more fun to make you guys have to transport it across the city yourselves, so never mind.
Absolutely.
The chef does not deliver. You pick it up.
Right,
Oh,
especially-
thanks, Chef.
He's not
Especially
even mad
when
at
he's-
this, right?
But that's actually not true. He definitely delivers. You know, you guys have heard of ghost kitchens. Well, his is a ninja kitchen. So
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But no,
Absolutely Michelin starred.
Can you, Flair? Can you turn yourself into
Michelin.
a cargo van?
I mean, sure, but then I can't be inside the cake.
But when
Once we get there,
when
we
we
can-
get there, then you
Okay.
incorporate
All right,
into.
we're still
go
going to
inside the
need
cake.
something to transport it on.
Well, when we pick it up,
Yeah.
we can see how hard it will be to get you in there. And if it's easy,
Oh,
we
it's
can
gonna-
get you like close and then you go.
I mean, okay, yeah, like
Yeah,
sure.
you transport into a cargo van. We ride in you to the location.
Hey, we're the Harbor kids. I'm gonna go look through our old stuff in our hideout. Is there since it's an old like warehouse type building, is there a pallet jack I could use?
well,
A pallet jack.
I mean,
How
I would
fancy.
imagine that there is equipment that was originally for servicing this super vehicle that you've got.
Yeah. How about we use?
I'd say that if it's for servicing the super vehicle, I would say that maybe there's even like a hoverjack.
That is true.
I mean,
Or does that part
I could
work,
see
or is
that.
it only like one hoverer? So it's like
No, I think it works, but it's an old fashioned retro futuristic one. So it works, but it does hover and it goes boop, 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 boop.
absolutely.
Yes,
The
and if
catching sound.
and that's when it's going forward. You don't want to hear it when it goes backward.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
There it
they,
is.
they tried to integrate that in the normal beeping as something going in reverse, and it's really grating.
Yep. And we don't know how to shut it off because it's broken. And thus the Harbor Kids and their hover take the day.
Mhm.
All right. So I mean, I guess I will. I'll be the cargo van,
Mhm.
and yes, kitty cat, I see you. Um, uh, and
Like, try to
and
watch
then
Pablo.
once we get close enough, we'll swap around. Um,
So
we were
is
talking last time
Ilano
about
supposed to
limits
be?
as far as
Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
we were talking last time about yeah, Alana is actually not supposed to go on this mission at all.
Right, but are you just leaving her at the headquarters all by herself?
Well,
No, let's get. Do we have a?
I mean, we need you, Vanguard, because
Well, yeah.
because
Because
of Marksman.
you marksman. So somebody should stay at the headquarters with Alano.
Yeah,
All right. I volunteer as tribute.
and I think we can have a third to be just the person pushing the cart.
Darn it.
uh, Carrie will do that.
Okay.
If only I could have found my old Halloween mask when I dressed up as my grandpa. I thought it was funny. We could have just put that on it.
With the hoodie hood up and then the
Yeah,
mask.
Well, if I thought
Yeah,
of that,
okay.
it would have-
That's that. I mean, that's
Wow.
yeah,
that's the
I
plan.
think
I mean,
yeah, the mask is a
anything
good
more
idea,
than that,
but
you're risk.
I don't have time.
yeah. But that's fine.
All right.
Maybe-
So, Cake Squad, Vanguard,
Don't-
Flare, and Curie.
Right.
All right. So who? So Mayhem, Antares, Ilano staying at the headquarters, or are you doing something else? What's the plan? Are you just
I think
waiting
we'll
to
stay
hear
at
how
the
it goes?
I think we'll stay at the headquarters for about 5 minutes, let them get a head start, and then we'll start walking so that we can be in a diner downtown and closer to the action so that we can kind of see the explosion happen.
I like the way you think, Mayhem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
They're like,
Because
we want to be
maybe-
within.
You've picked out a building nearby that's got a good line of sight on the thing, and you've gone to the like top floor cafe.
No,
coffee
it's time to show
Observe-
Alano diner food next.
Okay.
There's got to be a Greek diner in Halcyon City, right?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely.
So is Ilano so for the non-Cake Squad first, if you're going to a diner, I love this idea, but Mayhem never wears like a super suit or anything. But what about Antares, and also what's Ilano's current?
I'll
deal
be
here?
in cities.
Okay.
I may regret it, but I'll be in cities.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I think we will the 5 minutes is taken up with raiding Curie's closet.
More hoodies.
Yeah, Carrie would have absolutely, Carrie would have told Alano that she's free to borrow whatever.
All right. So,
I mean, hoodie is a classic. You could also go trench coat, fedora, but I don't know if that would have been in Curie's closet.
No,
No, that's Flair's semi-formal closet.
Yeah, do the Raphael going to the movie theater.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So I'll probably be like a hoodie and sunglasses again.
Okay.
Jeans, sneakers, all that good stuff.
And it's like both fairly comfortable and odd. So every so often, an odd feeling, this type of clothing. So every so often she'll like like tug at a seam or something, because it's odd.
It's tighter than she's used to. Like the pants are they're generally tighter. If you're not used to like sneakers, then it's gonna feel weird.
Yeah.
Socks will feel weird.
No, socks won't, but
Okay.
because even with like boots and such, you wear socks,
All right.
or
I was going to
or
say,
hose of some
you know,
sort.
Ilano's dimension has socks. We've confirmed that now.
Okay.
Cool.
The sneakers are a little weird because they don't walk the same, but that's easier to get around than like seams in uncomfortable places.
Hmm.
So off for Alano to experience human diner food.
All right. So I think as we have a panel showing the three of you going into the diner, I think that we have that's in the background, and in the foreground there's a little just a sidewalk, sandwich, one of the little signs that is announcing that downtown later today in one of the public parks there is an ice cream festival.
Oh boy.
Oh, so good.
Oh boy.
I too like ice cream. Yes. Yeah. So it's just kind of like, you know what? I think I'm just deciding right now that there is some historic event in Halcyon City where ice cream played a role, and so this is just kind of like community leaders have decided
I
that
have
one of
a-
the local, sort of holidays is ice cream party.
I have an idea.
Sure.
It's celebrating the birthday of a famous frosting hero,
Frosting?
like
Like Ice Powers.
Ice
Okay,
Powers.
yeah, okay. Well, frosting, I thought you maybe meant like on a cake.
Cake.
Yes, it's the chef's day.
I think
Oh, God.
themed.
Sure. So in any case, yeah, we see a sign that downtown in one of the sort of. I'm imagining for those who know Boston, there's Boston Common, but then there's also the Boston Botanical Gardens, which are right next to Boston Common, basically. And so that's where the ice cream festival is later today. But in the meantime, though, got Cake Squad, who riding in Flair disguised as what does this van look like? Flair as van.
Yeah. It looks like a 1968 VW microbus.
I was
Wow.
absolutely thinking the microbus. Either that or one of the old Chevy Astra vans with like the bubble windows and the ladder on the back.
No, I think that the microbus definitely has more character.
Indeed.
I
And
think-
also,
and,
you can't get them anymore at all.
No, no. They brought them back.
They did.
Yes, as a
Well, they
electric vehicle.
wouldn't look exactly the same. They
Yeah,
said-
as electric
I-
vehicles.
And when you transform into it, Kiri has an oddly, like kind of knee-jerk, kind of, startle reaction to it. Sorry, there was someone back in my old place that who would live in the woods in one of those, and he was not someone you wanted to approach.
Oh well, Flair's face kind of emerges from one of the surfaces and says, "Well then, looking badass is exactly what I was after."
Well, so I was going to ask about like the paint job. Is it painted to look like it's new, or is it designed to look like it's an old one?
It's got the white on the top and the turquoise on the sides, the classic.
Mhm.
Okay, but does it look new or does it look old?
Looks new.
Okay, well that's what I'm asking. So you didn't answer me until just now. All right. So you sort of pull up like outside this place, and I think that as you do, a loading door begins
I
to
think
open.
actually I think we would want to make the switch a little further away.
Well, no, this is to pick up the cake. Was my
Oh,
assumption.
to pick up the cake. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So did you brought the little hover pallet or
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I think that just literally as you pull up outside this address, a loading door opens, garage door style, and what we see in the panel is that as soon as there's a crack of opening, it's just like blinding light pouring out through the gap as the door opens, and then as it opens, just in what looks like an empty room with no other openings in it, just like a bare polished concrete square room, but sitting in the center of it is this incredible cake that you have commissioned, and it looks amazing. And it has all of the decorations you wanted. I think there's just a moment where we get the 2-page spread of everyone just marveling at how amazing this cake looks.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can definitely see why he's recommended. Wow. Yeah.
I didn't know. I honestly didn't know ninjas could cook so well, especially bacon. This is impressive.
I mean, I don't think it's all ninjas. I think it's just these ninjas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
True.
just these ones.
Alrighty.
I mean, I think any self-respecting ninja is, owes it to themselves and to their craft to be studied in all manner of different skill sets.
Mhm.
It's true.
Yeah,
They
I
have
mean,
to infiltrate
thanks.
someone through the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So not necessarily specialized at to as high a quality of skill in this field.
Sure.
But anyways, let's get going.
Yeah, let's get this loaded up.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I think you're a little ways away from the Mystic Marksman headquarters, but like, what's
We're gonna need to
walk
pull
me
into
through the
some places.
logistics here.
So we're gonna pull into some like alley or something that's out of sight from the target location.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Uh,
gonna get the
pull in, get the cart
cart
out.
out, get the
Um,
cake, put the cake on the cart, and then you transform.
and go inside because there's
Yep.
got to be some kind of a lid or something.
Yeah. It's arranged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. In fact, actually, probably come up from underneath it as these things go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then transform into the inside of a cake.
And I'll say, Kiri, here, you take the handles, and I will use my marksman badge to start getting us through the doors.
Yep. Okay.
And he looks at
And
me.
yep. Curious,
I
making
think
sure.
we have a
Making sure.
Okay, go ahead.
Curious, making sure to avoid any major bumps or
Well, it's a hover pallet. It
Yeah, it's
doesn't.
a hover pallet. Yeah, it
yeah.
shouldn't
or
be a
at
problem.
least like major terrain level changes.
Yeah.
Okay.
To,
It's
keep
got a gyroscope. It's
the
fine. It's fine.
pallet
Don't
from
worry about it.
bumping.
Mm-hmm. You're being careful with it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I think we have a couple of panels of just some passerby who watched a cool VW van go into an alley, and then 3 people in their uniform, or I guess 2 people in their hero uniforms, or no?
Yes.
Curie.
Yes.
Curie
Yes.
would have. Yeah.
Coming out with an amazing cake on a hover pallet, but then as like he's looking and like the van is gone, he's like, okay.
And then Megard sees them and just kind of looks and says, "The cake's alive."
I knew it.
Wow.
So, in any case, I'm gathering that you have not like let anybody know that you're
I
even
thought
going to
that
come
probably-
at all, much less that you're bringing a gigantic cake.
Well, no, I did tell my gramps that we would that I would bring some of my team to come see him because we had stuff to tell him and he
Uh-huh.
wanted to talk with me, but
Sure.
no one else.
Yeah.
To be
Well-
fair, I don't think anybody knows I'm supposed to be coming to meet him other than him.
Also, nobody was told about a gigantic
Okay.
cake that obviously someone's going to jump out of because they don't make cakes that big for any other
Other
reason.
purpose.
Team building exercise.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay, so
Mhm.
what's the outside of the or whatever entrance you are using to get to the headquarters? What is it like?
So we still have to come through the like not main entrance, but it's like a main hero entrance because like there's the main entrance where like press will set up and when they have conferences and stuff. But there's also like the side door, like in big cities where they have the wide alleys and the cargo area where people go in. So we can go in through that way, but every like staff member and like people working just general jobs in the Marksman building come through here as well because it's like behind the stage, so to speak. So
Mhm.
we're gonna pass by so many offices with this cake.
Hmm. So I am sure that there are security systems in the headquarters here. Like, how obvious are they? Like, you're coming in through the you wouldn't be coming in through the the visitors screening.
Yeah.
But like,
Well, they've got obviously like they've got retinal scans, they've got my badge scan, plus they've got a couple security that are like, I would say they're not like A tier or S tier heroes, but they're like B, C tier heroes that can do security, kind of tough guys.
sure. No, yeah. So I think that there is a point where you're coming through, and it's not that like there's a gate or some obvious like barrier so much as there is a guy there in a uniform and holding a clipboard that says, "Good morning, Vanguard. You have a
Yes.
guest and a cake."
Yeah, it's a one team building exercise for me and the Harbor kids, and two, I got some vital information to take to grants.
And a cake, apparently.
Yeah, that's also part of.
See, I
them.
noticed the cake right away. That's the thing.
It's an amazing cake, isn't it?
It is amazing cake, by the way.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that's a bad cake. I'm saying it's a cake. I didn't know that there was, I didn't know it was a cake times.
Hey, look, nothing but the best for my grandpa. It's from the chef.
Oh. Okay. So, like, it's a surprise? Does he know that it's a surprise?
He knows I'm coming, but I haven't told him about the cake. Which is why I came through this entrance and not the front, because I know he likes to watch those cameras a lot.
I am going to suggest that what you are doing right here is you are trying to provoke someone to have him not ask any more questions than this, perhaps to be on board with the idea of surprising his boss,
Yeah.
the former superhero, former mayor, notoriously kind of a taciturn and grumpy, to be surprised with a gigantic cake.
Yeah, I mean, I'm literally just basically going to troll the kingpin. It's fine.
Sure. I mean,
And
it's not the
I am
kingpin.
definitely
I think.
I'm
He'd be
here
the
to-
opposite of the
Yeah.
king. He'd be the
I
will
other
help it,
side
but-
of the kingpin.
Yeah, because I think Gunpowder Guardian, like, he's grumpy, but he's grumpy like
Yeah.
old Batman and Batman Beyond is grumpy, not like
Oh my
Kingpin.
god. By the way, guys, at some point, now that she has said that, I will find a way to have them have the marksman have a dog like Ace because
Wow.
he's the best super dog. But,
Sure.
but yeah,
On board.
Provokes one. Would you roll with that?
Yeah, so that is plus superior.
Okay, I'll take that.
I mean, Curie could perhaps help if that's necessary. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, and
That's definitely I definitely think something I'm thinking about.
At least it's not a negative.
Yeah.
Let's see. Look at that. So it's
Woo, there you
already
go.
a 9. So that means help could make it a 10 plus.
Yeah. I think I will. I think I am going to do that.
So you are at the start of this session. There's just the one team, but you can go ahead and spend that.
If nobody objects, I'm definitely going to do it.
I'm 100% on board.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think it's a good idea.
Yep.
All right.
Grecian Diner crew votes yes.
Yeah. And I could see like basically what turns it from a hit to a full hit is Kiri's going to say, yeah, and if there's any backlash, it'll just be on us. Yeah.
And
Well, listen. Okay, I'll make a deal with you. I won't say anything, but I want a piece of that cake later.
you know what? Sure thing.
All right.
We'll make sure that it does not get harmed on the way up.
I'll make sure the security cameras are rolling because I have a feeling we'll want record of whatever happens for posterity.
Sounds nice.
And just, listen, I wouldn't be surprised if it brings a smile to my Gramps face. And I'm like, I just, kind of wave Curie and the cake through as we're going through, and I just kind of like, it'll be fine. Fine. Promise. Absolutely.
Oh
Okay.
boy.
So
Yeah, Kiri is just like purposely like not purposely like being extra careful just so she has a reason to not look and not look up.
mhm.
She
And Vanguard's like, Flair, how you doing in there?
Kate can't
Flair?
talk.
Yeah,
Flair, how are you doing? How you doing?
Frosting can't talk.
I can't. I'm cake.
Oh,
yeah.
Cake going,
You
yeah.
were a van earlier and you were talking, but that's fine.
Well,
It's
On
up
the
to,
radio.
it's up to
Also a
Flair to
bunch of
decide
cake and-
whether they take her.
and
I'm trying to keep on the down
in
low.
character.
Uh-huh. Method
And-
acting.
Yeah. Be like, I don't think
And,
he can talk to
Vanguard-
the cake.
Vanguard looks at Curious, and of course, now they are a method actor in character.
Honestly, this is a good time to be.
Yeah.
Be the cake.
So, I think the last time we had you do your lineage role was after the fight with the cruise director, and you got an attaboy from your cousin.
Not so much from Grandpa.
Well, did he actually say anything? I don't
Well,
recall.
no,
I
it
think
was
you just got the kudos from her. I don't know that we've
Yeah.
established what he thought about.
No.
Actually, or did it, maybe I'm wrong about.
I thought
Yeah,
there was a text message.
right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
I
like-
think
yeah,
it was.
from
Yeah,
cousin.
it was the mixed, right? So I think he was
Yes.
a little concerned that you potentially endangered, citizens under the magical influence.
Right.
So I think that's kind of where things stand at the moment. But so as you are riding up in the elevator for this, you know that you're basically going to the floor that is, I think this is classic, headquarters command center sort of thing. It's where there's, the big computer is there. It's also got, I think, windows that let you survey the city.
Yeah.
It's
and
also
then,
where he just kind of hangs out.
yeah, big tables for when he calls everyone in to.
Yeah,
to,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I think as we get ready for this critical moment to play out, I guess I'm just trying to decide when to. Okay, let's just go ahead and we'll wait and play it out until the critical moment comes, and then we will have a roll to see how it goes.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Wonderful,
So-
wonderful.
Yeah. So I think that as the elevator opens, you will see that he has already been alerted that you're coming up, and so I think that he is looking at you coming out of the elevator, and I think that there's a look that your experience with him would suggest that
He knows I'm up to some bullshit.
yeah, it's kind of like okay, what is this?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
What
so
is
he's
it
not
this
like
time?
he's not like mad, but it's just kind of like
He's
all right, so
something,
just
something.
go ahead and do whatever it is that you're.
Oh, resigned to it.
Oh
And
my
he's like,
God.
he comes in, he's like, hey, Gramps. He's like, so, Gramps, I took what you said to heart. And I've been doing my best at trying to coordinate, being a member of the team as well as developing my skills and powers. And in that process, we've discovered a lot of information. However, I didn't know how to necessarily bring some of this information to you. So I reached out to my compatriots and we came up with a plan. And he looks at the cake and says, that is, well, the plan.
He looks at the cake again.
And he's like, well, here we go. Surprise!
And I will transform into Elenil and pop out of the cake.
So now it's time for a roll. I think that this is a provoke someone roll.
This is so provoking.
I think that we could potentially justify it being a roll from any of the three people that are participating here. Vanguard is certainly the one that has kind of a most direct connection here, so it might make sense for him to do it. But I guess I will let you fight
Well,
about it.
I
if you
mean,
want.
I'm the one who's doing the provoking.
It's true,
There's-
but
there's
I
a
mean,
possibility
it's
here.
like set up by Vanguard, though the person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I mean,
And we don't,
you know,
we don't have any here. We don't have any points to
Gunpowder
spend on
Guardian
helping.
knows about Flare, right?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And also because you have influence over me, we also get caught up in a lot of this type of bullshit.
Well, so I think though, but like obviously you don't look like Flare at the
Right.
moment. And so like
Yeah.
if we want to say that it's Flare doing the role, that's fine with me. This is kind of a, you know.
I need to do rolls because I need to make potential. I need to fail at stuff. So
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
so this is you are provoking someone.
Yep,
Well,
so-
for one, we're using the move here, but to note here, when you provoke someone susceptible to your words, right?
yeah.
I don't think Gunpowder Guard
Well,
is especially susceptible to your
Here's
words,
the way. Here's my argument for why he is.
but- okay.
What we're provoking him to do
Hmm.
is to act the way he would towards Elenil.
Okay.
That is true.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Because
so that's-
ultimately, the way he sold this whole shenanigans
Mhm.
as was to find out if it was safe to tell her dad that Elenil
Well,
wasn't
so
his
what
son.
I want to encourage a suggestion here, though, is that
Now,
this is a game where we play to find out what happens. And
Oh, yeah.
sometimes what that means is not that there is a definite thing that he will or won't do, and you're just trying to find it out.
okay,
The role is going
Okay.
to, in some ways, determine
Yeah.
how it will go, right?
right.
Yeah.
So, so in
So-
any case, though, certainly still
So, okay.
provoking someone. I think it applies here broadly. He
Okay.
is interested in the subject matter. He has been introduced
Okay,
by.
then
a
in that
relative.
case, I think Vanguard should roll
Okay.
because he's the one who's got an interest in it going well.
Right. So
Right.
I'll do that. And-
Blair doesn't really care how it goes. Actually,
Yeah.
He's actually mostly here for the chaos.
Mhm. Yeah, so I think that makes sense. That like whoever is the
He's
person
got
who
he's got
cares the most
stakes.
about how
He's
it
got
goes
stakes. Yeah,
should
yeah,
be
yeah.
the
Sure,
one
sure.
who rolls.
And you know what? Honestly, misses are where the fun happens.
It's true. But look at that. So full
Look at
hit.
that.
So I think what we didn't actually quite do before we rolled though was say what you're trying to get them to do. Right. And if you really want the answer to just be
He freaks out.
yeah. But I guess what I'm hoping is kind of like what were you hoping that
Ooh.
he would do?
That it freaks him out long enough to pause so he'll actually listen to what I have to say because he hasn't thus far. It's like overwhelming him with like, wait, what? And I'm like, she came through the portal. We found out, blah, 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 and he gives him like the rundown.
Yeah, so I think that
And he's like, I knew you wouldn't listen, so I had to do the thing to surprise you, so you would actually listen to the information we found.
so I think that he does sort of have an initial like
Everybody grabs
Ga-
for their
game
weapons, kinds of
face.
thing. Yeah.
game face move, but I think he does not immediately summon his weapon.
Right.
He does not push any security buttons right away. There is a reaction of I'm concerned and alarmed, but it does not seem like I need to do anything else yet.
I would suggest one of the things that you would say is she wants to take down her father.
Yeah, you can say he's like, yeah, and she definitely wants to take down her father. We found his second in command, but he got away from us. And this is also not her, this is Flair, so please don't shoot him.
And then
and then
keeps on her,
I'll change back to my usual.
does,
form.
does her banana phone thing and says, yeah, come in.
Yeah, it was like, and we have two other members of the team keeping her under surveillance
Mhm.
at a diner.
Well, do you know about the diner? You don't know.
No,
about
I
the
don't.
diner.
No, I don't.
He thinks it's back at the.
It's
He's
close.
back at the.
Back at
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
back at
So
our headquarters.
yeah, he's listening to all of this babbling at this point, and I think at just a certain point he's just kind of got his head in his hands and he's just saying, "I knew it was something."
I think at this point, Carrie would like step forward and say, sir, my name is Carrie. You probably know that by now, but I do have to say thank you very much for
I think when you say that, he leans down and presses a button. Like he's just at like the conference table, but he's got a little panel, and he presses a
Yeah.
button, and on the computer screens behind him, there's like a little profile of you.
Yeah.
Surveillance photos.
that makes sense. But and I'm very glad that you were able to, or you didn't have any bad reaction to this, and I just want to let you make sure that we have the best intentions, and sometimes it's just hard to figure out the best way to present our best intentions.
And it is ironically funny.
And yes, comedy is always is a great way to soften a blow.
Or stop a bullet.
Is that what you think just happened?
We hope.
Some
I-
people
I-
find it funny, at least.
I
We
I
did-
was just trying to find out if you were going to shoot her on sight. That's all I was after.
And to be fair,
Well-
Grandpa,
oh.
you've done it before.
I have done it before under appropriate situations.
So the daughter of
have-
your arch enemy that nearly destroyed the city isn't one of them?
No,
You just
no,
finished telling me that it wasn't. Give me some
Oh,
credit.
Yeah, he's fine. Everything worked out great.
Right.
He's looking again at the cake. He's like, "Is that a little chef?"
Oh yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
We took this very seriously.
Maybe we can get some plates sent up by your kitchen. I haven't wanted to taste
mean,
it, to be honest.
Yes.
Okay, because not a lie after all.
It was
Vanguard, I am, let's say, perplexed.
by my creativity.
Well, let's say I think that it's clear that you and your friends crafted a plan that required some legwork,
Mm-hmm.
some I suspect difficult negotiations,
We properly
planning,
Yes,
Yeah.
we did network well.
teamwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of that's great, but I feel like you just kind of went the long way around when you could have just said, Grandpa, we met the daughter of the invader, but she's nice. We want you to meet her.
Yes, but you when I tend to come to you with these type of things, it usually doesn't go well. And I really didn't think you would like the idea that we've been working with your like biggest rival's daughter for like the last 2 or 3 missions that we've done as a team, and she's become a very valuable kind of member of the team.
Well, okay. I have to say, I want you to know, or rather, let me be clear about this. What I like is when you tell me the truth.
We just delayed it.
Well, what you did is go to great lengths to present it to me in surprise cake form.
It's got you talking though.
You know, one of the things that happens as you get older is I think that it's possible for you to grow inflexible in your thinking. And I understand and respect that the younger generations have their own ways of doing things. And I want you to understand that I am making an effort to meet you at your level here and respect the admirable parts of your plan while still questioning the judgment behind it. However, that's just the execution. What we have here is someone from Dektori's dimension with a connection to him who wants to help. Do I have that
Yes,
correct?
you did.
Yes, we
Yes.
did find that out after she kind of got out of a semi-coma. Yes. Well, sort of before too, but she had to recharge. We've done a lot in this week.
I had some reports that you had someone new that was with your group. This is who it is?
Yes.
Yes,
we've,
yes.
we've been trying to keep the obvious golden skin and features less prominent, which is why we haven't done any television spots lately. And I know that's kind of a thing you told me about. We're working at it.
Well, so, Vanguard, we've had this conversation over and over again. You do press when you feel like you're ready to do press, but don't expect to get press without doing press.
Right. You just thought doing press with.
No, you made the right call in this one. So, where is she now?
Oh, she's with the rest of the team back at headquarters.
She should be on the way. I called them to let them know.
So I don't know that everybody else heard when you did that. So I'm giving.
Oh
you-
yeah,
Yeah, I did. Okay. Oh, I
yeah. I would have. I basically I
Mhm.
did the banana phone thing when.
Yeah, I'm just saying I noticed that you did that, but nobody else reacted. So I'm letting everybody else know that if you
Oh.
missed that happened.
I did miss
Yeah.
that.
Okay. So, are you on the way? What's happened?
So cut to the diner. Alano is experiencing the glory that is a grilled cheese sandwich.
Hey.
And the like the text message, phone, whatever goes off, and like she kind of like quickly finishes the last couple of bites, and I don't have a concept of paying the bill yet. So
I
I'm
will
just
pay the
going
bill.
I'm just going to get up and like, all right, so
Just hold on. Let me
Same
pay the
time.
bill. Let me pay the bill. We'll give the waitress
Pay
a
the-
nice tip.
bill tip.
Food here must be exchanged for currency. Food is generally not free in this world.
I do
And-
understand that concept, but I've not experienced it quite so closely.
How is it different where you are? I mean, are you not used
Well,
to having to pay because you're the daughter of the emperor?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Aha.
Yeah.
Um, it's like I'm more used to like if I'm not in the fortress itself, that and we've gone somewhere else, it's like they're just giving us the best of whatever they have.
Mhm.
So I kind of understand from reading that this whole currency and exchange of currency for goods and services is a thing, but I've never had to do it.
Mhm.
All right. So
Right.
you're what? Is the team making their way to the
But
headquarters?
so
Yeah.
now we're gonna make
Yep.
our way
Yeah,
over,
we'll pay the
Yeah.
bill and we'll make our way over.
Yeah.
and
I think
I get-
we'll go because we don't have badges. Vanguard, we don't have what Vanguard does. We'll have to go
Mhm.
into the visitors' entrance.
But I'm sure the guy down there says, harbor kids, they're expecting you.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
good.
so in any case, I think you're on your way, but you probably wouldn't be there yet. So in any case, also I think that did you say where you were? Like you,
No,
No,
no, it's
no.
like yeah, we'll be there.
Yeah, we
Give
didn't.
us a minute.
You just
like,
hear clanking in the background,
okay.
like plates and dishes scraping, people talking. And we're like, what?
Because you're just going there, like it doesn't matter. It's not like it's a weird secret. Okay. Anyway, so I think back in the headquarters, Gunpowder Guardian is just looking at the three of you and just saying, I feel like what your plan did is get us talking about the plan and not the point, right? We had our first reappearance of forces from Dektori's dimension in over 30 years. And last time they came through, it was devastating. This fight that you saw that we had here a few days ago was nothing in comparison. It felt like they weren't even expecting to be invading. They just happened to take an opportunity. Which
The way I
sounds like...
understand- The way I understand that actually was the case. To if from what I understand of what Alana said, she opened the portal to get here, and Victoria happened to be paying attention enough to get forces through.
which could mean, you know, if there are more supporters for her, that there's others willing to defect, maybe.
How do you?
She's the princess.
He's the emperor.
Wouldn't be the first time an emperor was taken down by the fact that someone liked his kids more than him.
I mean, I'm not. I will acknowledge that it's theoretically possible, but I'm not sure where you're getting any evidence at all for that to be the case.
Oh, I don't. It could be a possibility, especially given the fact that, well, no one tried to, I don't think anyone tried to stop her super much, but I mean, at least
He
we
sent
have,
Colonel Karzan after her.
that is true.
All of those
And
hounds,
actually,
they were looking for her. Is that what was happening?
yes,
Mhm.
they were looking for her. And oh, another note. I, I assume you know about of Dr. Apogee. I believe that I have reason to believe that Dr. Apogee is working with Victoria in some way to uh, um, return in a more powerful method.
He
Um,
looks at you skeptically and says, "That would surprise me, but I'll look into it."
Yeah, he's like, and Vanguard's like, we've come across multiple of those talismans and that purple energy. It was on the boat with the cruise director and the zoo crew.
Mm-hmm.
And so I mean, we're kind of thinking that may also be a part of this because it's been enhancing these guys, giving them different abilities. Like the zoo crew was way tougher than they should have been.
yes, and I doubt that a member of the zoo crew would be able to appear to duplicate himself a dozen times
Less of all
and
the cruise
through
director's ability
concrete
to
like
control
nothing.
it. Yeah, and the cruise director's ability to control an entire cruise ship of people and grow it bigger than it was previously.
I'm going to just go ahead and say at this point, I think I need to talk to this girl. But
Sure.
I think your desire to help the situation is perhaps making you conflate everything that you've experienced in the last 5 days as all part of some big grand conspiracy, and it usually doesn't work like that.
Well,
Which
Meantime,
sounds like a good time for us to show up, I
Sure.
think.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Flair has been hovering around the room, just kind of looking over all these artifacts and things that are decorating the place, and just kind of nodding at the appropriate moment. Yeah, that's like that. And generally speaking, just being a gadfly.
Mm-hmm. I think that there is we get just one or two panels of him like as you're flying around in the background, him just kind of sort of very in a very long suffering way, just not reacting to that.
He's like, oh,
and like there's a couple moments where I'm curious, like trying like thinking it's like okay, call him back, but not actually saying anything.
it's like the old man from Up. He's just getting his face is getting flatter and flatter as the number goes around.
Mhm.
And at one point, Vanguard will fly up. It's shaky. She's still not used to using this, and he's like, "Fly her
Yeah.
back down here."
Okay. I was gonna go see if they got the plates yet.
Yeah, I think they'll be here soon. Yeah.
I mean, everybody makes a big deal about the food, so I was gonna, looking forward to tasting the cake. I didn't taste it when I was in there. I wanted to save myself the experience along with the rest of you guys.
I did have a question about that.
Yeah.
our scanners indicated that that cake was filled with cake.
Yeah.
And that was a little suspicious because it's so obviously a cake designed for a person to hide inside.
Right.
So it was weird, actually, that it had cake inside.
Well, so
I mean,
Mimicry is amazing sometimes.
Blair.
it's not mimicry. I'm not like, I
He
actually like,
was cake.
I was cake.
I
Fun
honestly,
being
I don't
cake.
get how it works either. It,
I mean,
you know, it,
Blair, could you show him?
No,
No.
that's
What?
that's not
No.
necessary. I was just reminiscing on the days when I was a young superhero, and we stopped bank robberies and such. Anyway, it seems that your friends are on their way up, and the three of you, share your elevator ride with a catering cart.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I think you're all brought in, and there's a person there in a nice little I think black caterer's uniform, only with the little the Mystic Marksman symbol on the little on the breast of their little scrub.
What
or
does
whatever.
what did we ever establish what the Mystic Marksman logo actually looks like?
It was like a target. Sort of,
Right.
They had targets
Right.
and
Yes,
silver
Mystic, then
arrows and
it's
stuff on the
Yeah.
cake.
yeah.
And Vanguard will tell the guy, and could you make sure that the security guard down on such and such floor gets a piece? Because he was really helpful.
Oh yeah,
No,
that's a
no,
good
no.
thing to say right now. This is Nabil is talking, not Claire.
Hey, Vanguard,
Claire doesn't care,
Mhm.
but you could
Vanguard
get that
looks
guy in
over-
trouble.
Right. And Vanguard looks at his granddad and says, to be fair, he was following my orders. Wasn't his fault. I'm kind of persuasive sometimes.
I will ensure that he gets a piece of cake and perhaps a one-on-one conversation.
Oh no.
I mean,
I
he didn't really
do
have a good
hope you're
reason.
hope you're at least understanding.
And he goes,
So
"Could you
okay. This is. There is some conversation that you and I need to have one-on-one as well, Vanguard. However,
Oh no.
in the meantime, all of the rest of you,
Sir.
we have some important business to discuss regarding you. Elanil, I'm told, is your name.
Yes. Alana Balani.
So, tell me, how did you come to be here?
Well, I information about what my father did to come here was hard to find, but I was able to develop a spell to bring me across by establishing a gate. And I'll reach into the hoodie pocket. Oh, by this time I've pulled back the hood and taken off the glasses, and I pull out that multicolored ball that's currently gray. And this is the key. The color right now indicates that the gate is locked, and it's the only key to it. Unfortunately, something went wrong during the spell ritual, and my father noticed. And pulled the gate wider until I had the so more came through than just me until I could lock the gate. And then I'll put it back in my pocket.
May I see that?
Yes, and I'll take it out again and hold it out. And
You say this is the key
yes,
to the gate, and it's currently locked.
yes.
It seems to me that the safest thing would be to ensure that that key does not fall into the wrong hands.
Yes. I agree.
Is that why you've come to me? You want me to protect it?
I've come beside that could be one thing, but honestly, yours is the only name I've ever heard my father speak in fear.
Now I think is a good time for your respect roll, your respect move that you have as part of your Scion playbook. Is when you seek out one of the characters that you've chosen for this,
Yep.
you are going to roll plus Savior.
Okay, come on. Open. Okay. Plus Savior.
Look at that.
Nice.
On a 10, that's great. On a hit, you track them down, and I think we had you get here already, but I think in this case, I think so. He has basically started by like suggesting that what probably needs to happen here is to prevent the portal from ever opening again, and so he could protect that sphere. But you get the sense that he's taking you seriously, so if you want to say something to him, you should say it now.
I understand that you may wish to prevent my father from ever coming here again, and I understand that. What I really came here for is I want to defeat my father. As none of you have an idea of what it's like for anyone who is not my father when I'm here. Well, not my father back at home. Well, back where I came from. He's even worse there, and it needs to stop. And I need help. And since you're the one that he speaks of with fear, I thought you might be able to help me remove him forever.
He nods and he says, it had to take a lot of courage to strike out into an unfamiliar world in that way. But I respect your willingness to do the hard thing to protect people who need help. You can go ahead and mark one respect with Gunpowder Guardian.
Woohoo!
Nice.
Yeah. Mechanically, just for those not looking at the move like I am, when you have you need to like build respect in stages. So 1 is definitely progress, but doesn't provide mechanical benefit until you get to 4. But, you know, you've got the 1 that you didn't
Yeah,
have
but
before.
hey,
Yeah.
I've got to start.
Absolutely. And he says, 30 years ago, it took nearly all we had just to push him back. I fear if we were to allow the portal to open again right now, the best case scenario would simply be a repeat of that.
I understand it may take time to bring the fight to him and to be ready for it. I'm willing. While part of me wishes that I could wave my hand and make him go away, I know I can't, and I know it'll take time to get there. So for now, I don't think the portal should be opened now anyway.
Well, the
We-
thing that we do
we,
have...
we need to plan to be able to take him out, because
Yes. The thing that we do have now that we didn't have then is someone who knows him, knows his strengths, his weaknesses, his tactics. This is something that we'll have to develop.
and his cruelty.
Is there anything that you need to this end right now?
Not that I can think of. I honestly almost never thought that I'd get here to even ask. So I need some time to think of my own next steps.
Would you want to stay here in the protection of our headquarters and make use of the resources we have here?
I look at everyone and like the rest of the Harbor kids. I'd like to stay with them, but be able to come back to research and strategize. These are the... And I look specifically to Curry. I never knew what the word friend meant before I came here. I want to learn more about it.
Well, it looks like you have gotten yourself a support structure. I would encourage you to learn what you can about this world, because it is going to be an understanding of both places that is going to be our only hope. So, thank you for trusting me with this information. And I'm sorry if my grandson gave you the impression that I was the sort to shoot someone on first sight because of their physical appearance. He's given you a little bit of side-eye, Vanguard.
My only experience with my father dealing with enemies is not a pleasant idea. So knowing just how awful he can be, I figured if nothing else, a quick death by bullet might actually not be so bad. But I'm glad that I can
as you
escape
say that, he
that.
looks at Vanguard and he just says, "Vanguard, what have you been telling them?"
I mean, it's not all bad. It's
Eh.
just that when
Here's
you,
the bus
Dude.
that I just threw you under.
but when you combine it with how they normally hear you react to me, it kind of supports.
Yeah, that's gonna be a long conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah, a good dressing down.
So,
Yeah.
Vanguard, it seems as though I also have some work to do here to have given you the impression that it is so potentially hazardous to bring critically important information vital to the well-being of the city to me. I'm sorry that I have ever given you the impression that that was something you should hesitate to do.
Well, you just kind of feel like you're like. Have you ever seen the movie? The one about the emotions and there's the one with the fire for hair. Um, it's a really emotionally and moving movie, but
You know, just as a brief table talk tangent, you know that meme from where it's the scene from Breaking Bad. I guess it's the El Camino movie afterward, but it's Jesse saying something emphatically at the diner, and Walt just going, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah. No.
This is that kind of reaction.
I think he just kind of shakes his
Oh, he's
head
like-
and says, "I
and he's
just
like,
don't
"Inside
understand
Out."
this generation."
and he goes, and he's just like inside out. You're the anger emotion from inside out.
It's a story
Yeah,
about personification of
I think
emotion.
unknowingly he makes a Lewis Black facial expression. Yeah, and I think that the comics panel would be him looking annoyed at you, but like with a little sort of like comparison panel that he's just making the exact face that anger makes. Okay, so you know what? I think that we have managed to get to the heart of the matter here, but there's also something critically important that we have to address before anything else happens. And that is that you have somehow managed to arrange for a Le Chef cake, and it's sitting here growing staler by the moment. I am not big on sweets, but I am not going to turn down a piece of that.
All right, so Flair scoops up the plates and a big old knife and starts cutting slices,
Yay.
and make sure that one of the big lumps of frosting that the
A
decorations on it
corner
stays on the-
piece.
Yes. Well, it's probably a circular cake, but nevertheless, there's like decorations and stuff. Yeah. So he gets a nice piece.
Great.
And Vanguard's like,
that's
how
what-
is
Yeah.
And Vanguard's like, but now honestly, he's like, Grandpa, honestly though, who is Le Chef? Like is he that important?
Well, there are a number of different ways that question can be answered because it's context sensitive, right? Is he as important as the Mystic Marksman? I would say probably not. Is he important to people who care about food? Then yes. Is he... He's a figure of notoriety.
I mean, honestly though, he's got to be something if you won't turn down something he makes.
Have you not? You haven't had a piece of his cake before.
Flair comes over and hands you a slice. On a piece on a plate.
like-
yeah.
Not
Yes.
until today.
Have it on a plate.
Yeah, Carrie's gonna
Yeah.
absolutely take a bite.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and just say, like, without telling any of you how you would feel about it, I want to say that this is the platonic ideal of good cake.
Yes.
And Alano goes all starry anime eyes again.
Vanguard is like,
And for the
Yeah.
first time, Kiri's expression matches yours.
Yeah.
Vanguard
I-
just goes, I definitely lied. The cake is not a lie. It is.
No. I mean, you can't even get this in Paris.
And to think that we drove this around in a van, we should have had this delivered.
Yeah.
This is, of course, the cake that you brought. It is your cake. I would suggest that a gracious gesture would be to take some of these tiers here and offer to share them with the teams in the research level and the
Oh, yeah, there's
security
plenty.
level.
Honestly,
I
it's
definitely-
probably big enough to cover the entire building.
And
I would definitely say that yes, as many people as possible should have here in this headquarters should
yeah,
He
and Vanguard,
have cake.
Joy.
have a
and
piece.
Vanguard will even take some to his cousin and to Six Gun and Shotgun Arcana. He'll personally take some to the. You know, 'cause
All
he-
right,
The-
nice.
I got the connections now to get a Le Chef cake.
Don't know how I'll pay for it next time, but
you
Well,
know,
that-
Vanguard-
I think there
Yeah.
is a, like, do I even want to ask how you arranged it?
and he'll mention
and Mayhem will step on his foot.
and he's like, "I'm back."
That would be a no.
You know, I am once again just reminding myself that you have to let the new generation do things the way they're going to do them.
If anything important comes from this, we will let you know.
I would hope so, but thank you.
And given our discussion here, it will be done so without fear.
You mean with alacrity?
No hesitation. No
No
hesitation.
hesitation.
Vanguard,
Yeah.
Vanguard will look at Mayhem and go and whisper, "Next time I want extra garlic rolls for that." Ew, that hurts.
I think
Okay,
that,
I actually missed that. Sorry.
were you trying to say that to someone, Vanguard? 'Cause-
Yeah, he kind of leans down to Mayhem's ear to say that to Mayhem.
Okay.
'Cause you're strong.
Not everybody heard what you said. Is
Oh no, he looked at Mayhem and said, "Next time I want extra garlic rolls."
Well, I think that, like, after Curie says that, you know, he gets a little bit of a just ever so slight, you know, uptick in the one corner of his mouth, and he just says, looking over at Vanguard again, and just says, "Well, maybe there could be a little bit of fear."
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And Vanguard says first he thinks about it. He's gonna ask somebody, and he says, "You know what? Honestly, at this point, I've made it up pretty okay. I think I'll head my bed. I think I'm done betting and gambling."
Okay. So it'll be delivered with respect.
That's good.
How about that?
Okay.
All right. Now, I appreciate you bringing this to me, both the cake and the daughter of one of my greatest enemies. But I do have other work to do, so
Yes. Yes.
Right.
We
Sure.
should
You know
leave.
what? We got to do patrols and stuff. It's a new day. See you around.
We
man.
have to,
Also, I got my Vanguard and I can fly now.
no, yeah, that's yes. I saw that you're I'm sorry if I was a little harsh in my text. I hope that didn't contribute to this hesitation. However, I mean, you're a mystic marksman. You need to be careful.
Honestly, from experience of being there, his use was actually rather clever to avoid unnecessary injuries.
I'm going to say, as the GM, that was not my impression.
Not at
You
all.
basically
Wow.
shot a crowd of zombies.
He did.
I guess
Yeah, I
how
think
I saw it was like
And to be fair,
you
it
know,
was
more just parting the sea than like
Yeah,
shooting and
I
exploding.
cooperated with that on behalf
Right.
of not making Vanguard just having killed a bunch of possibly healable people. But yeah,
Right.
anyway, I'm just saying.
yeah, and it was only because he couldn't technically control it fully. He definitely shot an energy beam into a crowd of zombified people.
Yeah, so it's fine. And he just says, "Thank you for your perspective."
Mhm.
All right, so
All right.
I think there is almost a moment where like just the next panel is all of you standing awkwardly in the elevator again.
yeah.
That went better
And
than I
Vanguard's like,
expected.
and Vanguard's like, duly noted. He likes Le Chef cake. That's what I got.
but what's gonna take for us to ever get another one again?
You know, it depending on what happens with what the chef requested, it might be somewhat easier. Expensive, but easier.
True. But that being said, we should go try to find this commander fellow. I think we
Yes.
could do I think trying to find him would be something we could spend our time doing today.
Well, honestly, if the rest of you wish to do that, Mayhem, I think I need an introduction. And I'm sure you probably would notice that I'm curious, not saying anything about Nona Olivia for reasons.
I don't think what you're saying is clear to me even.
Like basically, I don't know what Gunpowder Guardian or any of the other marksmen would make of me talking about Nona Olivia.
Well, you guys are
And-
leaving, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Well,
we're
like
not
we're
around
still
yet.
in the building, so I'm assuming somebody is listening.
Well, somebody's
Maybe
always
not
listening.
immediately,
Yeah.
but yeah.
But mm, hmm.
are we?
Do I
waiting?
want to
Oh,
fight
I see.
or do I want spaghetti? Fight spaghetti.
I mean,
this given your proclivities, Mayhem, this is an actual question to be debated.
well,
Yeah.
What if you ate part of the spaghetti and then hit them with the remainder to start the fight? You could do
What?
the best of both worlds. You could fight and have spaghetti.
I mean, you could pick up the
Yeah,
spaghetti
but that's
and
a
then,
good way
and
to
then
not
leave.
have good spaghetti at the end.
I mean, the food fights are technically fights.
Yes, but
You don't do
Good
food
food.
fights with good food. That's why you only do it with stuff like school
cafeteria
food.
food.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that is too, that is good spaghetti to roast. That is true.
I
Okay. Yeah. No. We'll go see if she's home. You know, she's busy. She
Well, you know,
might not be home, but yeah, if you want to go visit Nona, then I can bring you by. She'll definitely want to know what Gunpowder Guardian's reaction to A, the surprise, and B, the cake.
Well, it actually wouldn't be a bad idea to go see her anyway. I mean, if she's got enough information to be able to find the chef for us, maybe she could give us some hints about or some info about some places where villains could hide potentially. I mean, she did know how to
Maybe, I
find a
don't
bunch
know.
of ninjas.
Never
I'm not that good at
underestimate the
tracking.
power of Nona. I have learned this.
Right. And honestly, I don't want to have to go back and ask my grandpa to use any of his surveillance equipment yet, right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay. Well, so
So party of 6 for Nona's house.
Well, I think as you leave the headquarters here, you're not too far from this big, this big city park area. What's the name of this park? I kind of mentioned it by comparing it to a couple of things before. Let's name it right now.
Let's see. Big city.
It's
park.
some kind of a big park in the middle area.
Uh-huh.
Let's see.
Maybe it's the Old Town Square when Halcyon City was, and so people just generally call it the square.
Not the town square. It was the green.
Oh yeah, the town green.
Halcyon Green.
Okay.
Halcyon
Yeah.
Green.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I like that.
So, you're not too far from there, and I think that you're hearing a commotion from that direction. Like there's people angrily shouting. It doesn't seem like screams of fear, but there's definitely like a hubbub.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
We should,
let's go.
let's go and face the peril.
Find
It's
out
not too
what's
perilous.
the hubbub.
Yeah.
Bud.
Okay.
Yep.
I will, and Vanguard will take off. Since I'm still in my superhero stuff, I'll fly up to go see if there's like a crowd.
Okay.
I'm in civvies. I may not be dressed for this, but we'll see what happens.
So you see that there is, in fact, there's kind of a commotion. It's a little bit confusing to try to understand what's happening at first because you see someone in, it's like a super suit, but it's like all various shades of beige, meaning it's just like all in beige, but like
Beige
just
band.
slightly different, like slightly lighter and slightly darker beiges, right? And it's the whole suit, right?
Yeah.
And he is clearly like stalking towards where the ice cream festival to be. And then you see that there are some people, people seem to be keeping their distance from him, but like shouting at him. And you see that there's a couple of people that he seems to have like left behind that are like laying on the ground, like shivering.
Oh boy.
I was gonna say it's Captain Bleach, but that can't be it.
Too much color.
All right. So we are about to go in against something that looks at least possibly threatening. Should we do the team move now, or
I
should
guess.
come later?
Yeah.
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 I got it. We have to assemble.
Mhm. All right. When you enter battle against a dangerous foe as a team, we're going to add 2 to the team pool, but also, who's our
Who's
leader?
the leader this time?
I mean,
Antari?
Vanguard
Alright,
is the
a
one
Vanguard?
that took action first to see what was happening.
Okay, Vanguard.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sure,
that's
Vanguard.
Yep.
So, do you have influence over every teammate, Vanguard?
You got me.
Yeah, it got me.
Yep, me. So
Antari?
Yep, you got me.
Yes. Got
All
me.
right. So we're
Yeah.
going to add another team. If everybody has the same purpose in the fight, add another team. I think you probably do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
stop whatever is
Yeah.
going on there.
If
Eat
any,
ice cream and
Yeah.
kick butt.
if any team member mistrusts the leader or the team, remove a team. I don't know that
No.
I would expect that. And
Nah.
ill-prepared or off-balance, you're surprised, but I wouldn't call you especially ill-prepared or off-balance. Maybe some of you aren't in your superhero costumes.
Yes.
But I wouldn't
Yeah.
necessarily make that remove a team from the pool, except that you may have to decide what you're doing for your first action if you are not in your suit.
Mm-hmm.
So that means we're starting the battle with a team of 4.
Nice.
So I gave you just the sort of very preliminary view of what happened that you could see from there. I hadn't made you roll a move to view the situation or whatever. But so
Yeah.
now
Well,
that we have entered battle as a team, what would you
Yeah,
like to do,
I-
Harbor Kids?
Blair's going to do his normal thing and fly up and around and assess the situation.
Okay, well, when you assess the situation, roll plus superior.
That's an 8.
Okay. So on a 7 to 9, you can ask one of those questions. Do you have the questions? I can read them if necessary. What here can I use to
Yep.
blank? What here is the biggest threat? What here is in the greatest danger? Who here is most vulnerable to me?
Okay, I'm going to say what here is in the greatest danger?
In the greatest danger is definitely the other people around the area. What you sense, and I think you have kind of a unique ability to detect exactly what's happening here, is that there is a strange aura around this figure in the beige where all of the air around him is the same temperature as all of the rest of the air, right? You know, it's but what you notice is things that would normally be warmer, like the people, are cooling when they enter a certain radius of him. So it seems like he is exuding some kind of an aura that equalizes the temperature of everything around him. And so if, for example, the temperature is 72 degrees in the air and someone who would normally be at 98.6 or whatever is entering this radius, it's cooling them to the air temperature, which is of course very dangerous
Yeah.
for the people.
for a person.
And that's why you think you see that like the people who are like on the ground shivering, clearly in advanced hypothermia just from having gotten too close to this guy.
Right.
And he is
Right.
stalking towards the ice cream festival.
Oh
Whoa.
no!
Ba-bum.
Oh
Yeah.
Wait, so that's going to melt all the ice cream.
yes, yeah, it's gonna
Yes.
destroy
Oh
the
no,
ice cream
everybody!
and the people.
Well, yeah, and
so,
the people.
So yeah, so Flair gets on the banana phone and lets everybody know what he just learned.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, Carrie knows what she's gonna do.
Mayhem is
she's-
going to move to directly intercept, definitely.
Okay.
Yep.
And I really worry about what would happen if I got close and everybody else was averaged with me.
Tiki torches.
Well, you know, I wouldn't say that it's averaged. I would say everything is being brought to
Oh.
room temperature. Basically.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
that.
Yeah, that would be bad. That would be really, really
What would
bad.
that do to your nuclear fusion reaction?
Oh, exactly.
gosh.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
This is
you
an
want to
exis-
keep.
So
this
I,
is an existential threat to
yeah,
fusion
like so right now I
Flair.
would say that you don't necessarily know the details of exactly how it works, only what seems to be happening when anyone gets close
Yeah.
to him. But he is definitely moving, you know, slowly but steadily towards the festival, and people are sort of like shouting at him, but they've seen what happens when people get too close, so they're keeping their distance, but like, you know, he's doing something bad. So
Yeah.
some are running and some are like trying to like tell him to stop, and so I Mayhem went to directly intercept. What does that mean? What does that look like?
I think it means that she's going to get in his way.
Okay. I mean, are you trying to stay out of what of this area of effect is and just placing yourself in his path, or are you trying to
Yeah.
like go directly to him?
I think I'm placing myself directly in his path.
Okay. So that sounds like a provoke someone because you're trying to get him to stop by
stop.
blocking him, right?
Yep.
Right.
Okay. So I don't know that he would necessarily be susceptible to your words, though. So I think, you know what? Let's call this directly engage a threat with plus danger, because technically he would. You don't think he has any reason to like listen to you, so you're not trying to reason with him. This is more like an intimidation. So let's say directly engage a threat. Roll plus danger.
Okay. And that is an 8.
Yeah. Okay, so that means you are picking one from resist or avoid their blows, take something from them, create an opportunity for your allies, or impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
I think resist or avoid their blows.
Okay, well, I think that what that means is that he sees you there, sees you clearly trying to, like, like place yourself as an obstruction, and he just changes direction. He just like avoids you. He's just going to go around without trying to engage with you. So
Okay.
you are not affected because he doesn't come that close, but he also is not stopping.
Okay.
Oh, does he take a condition?
I'm going to say no in this case. This is a different.
Narratively,
She didn't do anything that would cause him to have a condition in this case.
While
Okay.
while he's trying to get around mayhem, I'm gonna fly down and try to get the affected civilians to help to the medics.
Okay.
Bring Kiri would be going to those civilians.
Well, I Vanguard
Yeah.
is acting now,
Yeah.
also doing that. You can also do that when you act.
Yes.
But so yes, so that's you're defending someone or something from an immediate threat.
Yep, yep. Savior.
Okay.
That's a hit.
Yeah, that's an 8. So on a 7 to 9, it costs you. You can choose to either expose yourself to danger or escalate the situation.
I'll expose myself to danger.
Okay. So I think what that just means here is that you manage to enter sort of the outer levels of this guy's aura to
Yeah, 'cause
get
it's still
to
not good
where
at flying.
there are people, and you just immediately feel yourself like it's like you. It's a strange sensation because you don't actually. It's not your skin that feels cold like when you would enter a freezer or something, but you just instantly feel cold. Like from the inside, and it's I think an alarming feeling. You are able to get the other civilians who are feeling this out of that radius, but in the process, you are feeling it yourself, and it doesn't feel good. It feels cold,
Indeed.
and so you should take a condition.
And I will take. You know what? I'll take guilty because he was like, darn it, I didn't think I was going to be that close. And he's thinking, Gramps is definitely watching.
Hmm.
So I'll remind everybody that, for example, with provoke someone was tricky because you don't have, he doesn't, not susceptible to your words, but the way that you could get them to be is piercing the mask. So, but so Kiri, were you also attempting to
Yes.
help the?
Well, I'm gonna go to the ones that are lying on the ground and
Sure.
and try and
Yeah. So Vanguard has gotten them out of the area of effect, but they do still seem to be suffering from hypothermia, and you can help
yes,
them.
yeah.
Mhm.
And would that be comfort or support?
I think that's comfort or support. Yeah.
Okay,
Because
good.
they're out of like active danger and they just need healing, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
You need to be
So, and
rewarmed up.
no modifiers. So
Well, that would be plus mundane.
yeah, I
But,
well
yeah, look
no
at that.
extra, but
Yeah.
full hit.
Full
yeah.
hit, yeah. So yeah, that means that you are able to help them out. What is it that you do that helps them out in this case?
So one of the things I would pull out, pull out of my gear is like basically like some of those Mylar blankets.
Yeah.
And I just immediately wrap them up and call someone over to get like get something warm for them to drink,
Hmm.
and like just like general like running through like how to treat hypothermia.
Great. And so that's working. You're helping them out, and on a 10 plus, you can also add a team to the pool or clear a condition yourself.
I'm going to clear or add a team. Sorry.
Okay, great. So,
Yeah.
how about you, Antares or
Yep,
Ilanil?
my turn. Yep, my turn. Okay, so this guy has been marching along. Mayhem just avoided the aura. The aura is clearly affecting Vanguard. The key is to keep him from getting to the ice cream festival. So it's time to do a little park rearrangement and you unleash my cosmic energies to basically build a new park feature of a large, basically move the earth so like with my cosmic energy so that it's a wall that he cannot get to the festival. So I'm basically going to try to use my reshape the environment to throw an obstacle in his way.
Okay, so that would be an unleash your powers.
I believe yes.
Yeah. So please roll plus freak.
Okay, here we go. I don't have any extra. I have no conditions that affect this. So,
Ooh
oh,
boy.
Oh no.
Yeah. So that's a 5.
that's a 5.
Oof.
You and your dice luck, man.
My,
I
my
tell ya.
dice luck is terrible. I'll take.
Yeah.
It's interesting to take
Yeah.
take the
Go
take
ahead
the
and
myth.
mark potential. Yeah. So I think that. Gosh, I'm trying to think what makes this not work here. I think that. Well, so do you have ideas of how it would not work?
One of the fleeing people kind of gets in his line of sight. Like they would have been trapped on the other side.
Okay.
And so I have to.
Yeah.
I have to hold on. I have to.
Yeah, so
Cut it off.
yeah, perhaps you sort of realize you there's too many other people nearby that you wouldn't have been able to isolate him away from them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so unfortunately, yeah, he's definitely sort of like aware of all of you as like you're doing stuff to try to stop me. So like he's not taking a condition of sorts, but he's like paying attention now. And he just looks at all of you and he just says, "You all better just leave me well enough alone. I have a job to do."
Okay, well, I'm going to try and pierce the mask.
Okay.
This job doesn't look like like anything I've ever seen an ad for.
Yeah.
Why not just see if the local refrigerator company has an opening?
So, want to go ahead and roll plus mundane?
Yeah.
All right, look at that. That's a 9.
Nice.
I think potentially someone could even help you to make that a 10.
I don't
If
see
there's
that
a way.
spending it. I don't think I actually need it because there's only one question I really want here,
Okay.
and that is, what do you intend to do?
Well.
Okay.
Okay.
So how are you trying to find that out? Because you're not just reading his mind. Like what are
No.
you doing that would be?
Yeah. Well, I'm watching. I'm trying to like projecting a line for his path as like where he's headed
Okay.
for, what he's looking at. But I'm also like not being. I'm not being like subtle about it. I'm also like looking at him and like, what's the big deal?
So if
here?
you're not talking to him or engaging, you're just like trying to gauge, like guess what he's doing based on his actions.
Well, no, I'm also like I'm not getting into his aura, that's for certain. But
Sure.
I'm like, what's the deal here? What's this? Just here to make trouble, or you say you've got a job? Well,
This
What is it?
festival is a travesty, and I mean to see it destroyed.
oh wow, that's entirely reasonable. Somebody else can have their turn now.
Your
So,
Vanguard's like,
Ilanel, you haven't
Yep.
haven't done anything.
So, I am going to,
We haven't noticed any purple auras, have we?
No, not so far.
No, not so far.
so before, like, I had my, like, the hoodie up and all that,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm going to be brave and, like, take off the glasses, undo the hood,
Mm-hmm.
and then reach out to, I think I'm going to try to use magic to kind of do what Antares was thinking of, but just
Mhm.
like take, like, kind of turn the ground he's walking on
Mm-hmm.
into like thin mud,
Okay.
Oh,
so that he falls
like,
it
like,
down.
like quicksand or something.
But yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
So
movie
that
quicksand.
sounds like it would
Like
be
movie
an unleash
quicksand.
your powers, yeah.
yep.
Okay, so that's an 8. So you can either choose to mark a condition, or it will be if unstable or temporary.
I'll mark a condition.
Okay.
Insecure, because I'm not quite, like, I know how my team is,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know how the people around me are going to interact. And if I'm going to be here for a while, I
Mhm.
need them to, like,
Sure.
kind of actually start to trust me. So I have to,
Mhm.
like, I guess, establish my reputation as a good guy.
Right.
And I'm not
Okay.
sure how that's going to go.
So I think then what you have done is you've kind of you've turned sort of the ground that he was walking on into kind of like a mud soup that he's kind of like sunk into, and he's sort of now having to like wade through it and just like very
Yeah.
slow going, and he like looks back to all of you and just says, "Nobody will get hurt unless they get in my way."
Funny that I'm not in your way.
You're not getting hurt then. But he is clearly trying to just like make his way out of it, but obviously it's going to take him a bit because you've successfully made a like a mud trap.
Yeah.
And he's like he's struggling out of it, like he's sort of for the moment, his progress has been stopped, but he is trying to get out.
Okay.
I think I basically by now the people are people have been people that have been directly affected have been
Mhm.
stabilized somewhat. So
Yeah.
Kira is going to gonna run up and get run kind of try and run to get to the outer edge of his aura, but between it.
By and large, you can't see his aura. I described it as visible only to Flair, who specifically is an electromagnetic being to begin with.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
think you have a
And
general sense of about the distance in play, but it's not like it's a thing you can see.
yeah, so like she's going to run up, kind of keeping that the
Okay.
distance she thinks it's going to be,
Sure.
and is going to get in his way and be like, and say, "Why is this a travesty? Why is this need to be destroyed?"
Okay.
What?
That's a pierce the mask.
Yes. And yeah. Okay. I hit.
Okay. Well, so that's a 7, which means you get to ask one of those questions. What are you really planning? What do you want me to do? What do you intend to do? How could I get your character to blank? How could I gain influence over you?
I think honestly, how could I gain influence?
Okay. I think that it works out because ultimately what you can do is to gain influence on him is being willing to listen to his villain monologue.
Okay. Yeah.
And so that's kind of what you prompted. And so I think
Yeah.
he is he's frustrated to be in a position of having to explain himself while also trying to climb out of some sloppy, sticky mud. But he just says, "There are so many celebrated heroes who can make things cold and who can make things hot. But where's the festival for those of us who can make things room temperature? I am going to melt all of their precious ice cream and cool their precious summers until everybody knows the name of lukewarm."
Oh my god!
Oh, that is a villain worthy of the Tick.
Oh, priceless.
Bravo, GM,
Oh,
bravo.
Yeah.
So in listening to this, you now do have influence over him because you get the feeling specifically here, like he seems like a bad guy, but also part of what is driving him here is this feeling that he is not respected and unknown,
Unappreciated.
unappreciated.
I actually right away have some idea of how to continue. So I'm just letting you guys know, and
Yeah, go ahead.
So-
as far
Yeah,
as
no,
as far
go
as
ahead.
yeah.
okay, yeah. So I'd be like, you can make anything lukewarm, anything room temperature. Do you know how much good you could do with that? Like, have you ever thought about what would happen to you if you walked into a burning building and just used that ability on fire? Like, you could put out a raging inferno with just your very presence. You know, you don't have to do destruction. You don't have to ruin lives to uh, to make yourself a hero. You just have to find your niche. You know,
So this is definitely a provoke someone, right?
Yes.
You know,
Mhm.
in your now that you do have, they are susceptible to your words. So go ahead and roll plus superior.
so I have influenced, so I am. There's plus.
Look
Full
at
hit!
that.
All
And
right.
even without the +1 for influence, it would have been a full hit.
So yeah. So I think that you say all of that, and he just kind of stops and he thinks, is like, but when, I mean, I I guess, but everybody, huh?
And you know, something that you should know is that reformed villains are always make the coolest superheroes.
Coolest.
The most
No,
interesting
no, no.
superheroes.
Oh, okay, well, that's better.
The
Oh wow, that
Oh, you
God.
almost
That
blew
re-
it. Almost
oh.
blew it.
that really
So I'm going to suggest actually that what we have here is sort of like we get a nice little transition panel of the ice cream festival happening without disruption, and then another panel of just um, him sitting on a park bench in another area, and Curie standing like some safe distance away, and just kind of saying, well, so like, who do I contact like to get in like on an opportunity like that? I mean, I don't like, I kind of have a hard time getting close to people.
And
Hi.
Vanguard will stand up, still chilled, and yell. I mean, like, hey, I work with the marksmen. We've have a lot of upcoming teams. We're the Harbor kids. We're new. You can start a crew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure marksman would much rather mentor someone who wants to do good than uh, fight someone who wants to do bad.
Absolutely. And there's so many rescue squads and firefighting teams that could use someone to help them because you're not only going to save civilian lives, but you could save their lives too.
And honestly, I imagine the marksman would have some way of letting you learn how to control your power so you can direct it only where it's needed, not to everything around you. Because getting
Well,
closer to people would probably
I'm
be
going to
fun.
suggest that we kind of just fade out
Yeah.
here because
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the panel is like the
yeah,
panel
to
is
suggest that this is an ongoing,
Thanks.
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
you're taking the time to actually kind of talk him through it and not just saying, all right, you're good now, and then leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, so page
Yeah.
turn.
Yeah. And then I think that probably there would be, sometimes you get sort of a final page, which is almost like a joke panel of, or, like an alternate cover that I think shows all of the Harbor kids, like cheering on, holding a big, like, ice cream cone, with him in the back, holding a little cup of like melted ice cream.
Oh,
No, he seems like he likes it. He
Yeah.
likes it when it's soup.
It's the milkshake.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think that is where we will finish our story for tonight's
Fabulous.
session.
yeah.
And
That's
so,
awesome.
Time for our
We-
end of session moves.
We had some heartwarming moments. We had some
Stopping
um,
moments.
and some absolute silliness. Good mix for us.
Indeed.
Yes.
And hey, we stopped a villain without having to fight them.
Yeah.
We
Like,
talked them down.
And I mean, I know Mayhem won't be happy about this, but I feel like I can doff my cap to my grandpa because I saved people. We
sure
didn't
did,
cause
yeah.
collateral damage.
Yup.
Well, I mean, Alano made a big tar pit in the middle of the park.
But we can fix that. We can fix that.
That's easy
Like,
enough
With
to
the
fix.
same power.
yeah.
Hope we don't.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, so who has their end of session move?
I think I do.
Okay.
I grew into your own image of yourself.
Okay.
Because like, my whole thing is, I don't have powers. Am I appropriate for this? I talked a villain down.
Yeah.
Minor
Heck
villain, but
yeah.
I talked him down.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think I'm going to I'm gonna take point away from danger and put it into
Same here.
mundane.
Okay. Great.
Especially since part of this I did it without powers.
Yeah.
I
I
did
mean,
it
we
in a
didn't
random
really,
way.
roll for it, but I think a lot of the follow up in that falls very much into the comfort and support with Monday.
Yeah.
I'm going to grow closer to the team because a plan that I thought up worked.
Yes.
We
I mean,
followed
Kinda.
it together and it worked.
Yeah.
And to be fair, he didn't shoot first.
No.
Yeah.
Well, as far as that Flair is concerned, that is we learned something about him and yeah, and
Yeah.
I think that
Solid success.
solid
I mean,
success.
I think, Gunpowder Guardian's opinion of how that all played out is kind of like, the beginning of Pee Wee's Big Adventure where he has a whole Rube Goldberg machine to make him breakfast. And it's just kind of like, you can just put bread in the toaster and push it down. It's really easy. Building that whole machine is 1,000 times harder.
but
You-
I mean, it's an impressive machine. It clearly took skill and planning. But
But-
why, though? But why?
Hey, he got a good cake out of it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
b-
so I'm one step closer to that advancement.
Hmm.
All right.
So, Flair, did you have your what was your
I
you
took
grew closer?
Grew closer, took
Okay.
potential.
All right.
I think Mayhem feels like she grew closer as well, just because they got to have fun together, and it was nice to go out with Alana. She hasn't been able to spend much time with her.
Sure.
Nice diner food.
Hmm.
Got to see her taste the divinity that is a grilled cheese.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just really sweet. So I'm going to add Ilana as
Having influence?
having influence.
All right.
Or yeah, hold on. I put them in the wrong spot. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'll do that.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm the
All right.
same.
And I removed Afraid finally.
Yay! I get to spend some time with Alana and see her and be introduced to a grilled cheese and diner food. That was good. Yes, my one attempt to actually use my powers failed. I was tempted to grow away, but on balance, we did stuff together, had fun together, both in the diner and with the cake. So I will grow closer to the team. I will give influence to Alana, and I will mark more potential.
Nice.
Not that I don't need that because I keep rolling terribly.
Just for the record, I had sort of on the Twitch stream had titled this issue as "Changing Temperature," but I think I'm going to retcon the title of this one as "Cake and Ice Cream."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both warm,
with that.
cake
You
and
can
ice
have
cream.
you can have both and eat both too.
Vanguard will have grown closer to the team
Mhm.
because we accomplished it, and then also this is like the second or third time that me and Curie have worked together to save people. So it's like
Mhm.
good team cohesion. So
Yeah.
he will he's gonna mark potential because he's growing closer to the team.
All right. How about you, Ilana?
Um, definitely. Close to the team more that I like. Like
They
I
got you a
suppose,
meeting with your.
yeah, they got me a meeting with Gunpowder Guardian.
Mhm.
I was able to kind of do the like all the emotions of this is why I'm here. This is
Yeah,
what
you
I
got
need
to
to
make
do.
your initial pitch, and you were not immediately
Yep,
shut down.
really. And as far as I could tell, no one ran screaming when I brought down the hoodie and took off the glasses. So, yay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it's kind of like growing closer to the team, but also like kind of stepping more into myself. So
Yeah.
a little bit of both.
Sure. So
Um,
you can pick whichever one of those you feel like is the appropriate one that you want mechanically. I can see how you
I
would sell it for either.
I think more of the like more accepting of myself one.
Okay. Yeah.
Stepping into myself.
Sure. So you can shift your labels as you like, one up
Yep.
and one down.
Yeah, so I'm going to
By the way, guys,
drop Savior by one and bring up Freak by one.
Okay.
I think,
Because
I think next time we should go on a shopping spree because we gotta get a rental costume.
Hmm.
You gotta fit in. You gotta
Yeah.
get in.
Okay, so
I know
we-
exactly who we can go to.
Mhm.
Oh,
Mhm.
The Needle.
Yeah. And then but Mayhem over there still wearing her street clothes. we haven't really dealt with that so far, but yeah. All right. In any
Yeah.
case,
So
I think
two
that
of us could get.
yeah, I
Oh.
am always on board for role playing game makeover shopping montages. I have done like 5 of them in different across various campaigns. Anyway, that's it for this time, everybody. Thank you for listening and or watching. We will return probably next week for more superhero adventure on so many levels.
So many
So many
levels.
levels.